Welcome back to my Scratch Basics course, and today we will be going over movement and drawing. So first I'll open a new Scratch project, and we'll first go over the movement block. So obviously we have the move forward block, and I'll just drag that out here, and you can see that if we click it, the sprite appears to move forward. Um, and if you make like the number negative, it will move backward. Um, and you can match this with some turning blocks to have the sprite point in different directions. Also, if you just want the sprite to move up, down, or left and right, no matter where it's pointing, you can use the change x by or set x to for the left and right, and change y by and set y2 for up and down movement. There are a lot of other useful blocks here, such as the go to block. Right now it's set to random position, but you can really change this to a lot of different things. From you can have one sprite go to another sprite, or you can have it go to like the mouse pointer. And you can also just have it go to any position on the stage, which is also really useful. So there are many useful movement blocks which we'll be using in a lot of our projects. So that's movement, but now we'll go on to drawing, which is a little bit more complicated. So yeah, we'll first click on this button right down here, which is the add extension button, and it'll take us to this selection, which has a bunch of what are called extensions. So these aren't normally in Scratch, but you can click on them to add a section of blocks that allows you to do many other things that aren't included in these sections. So the one that I have opened now here is the pen extension, which will allow your sprites to draw on the stage. So there are a few important blocks we'll be using here, which is the erase all, the pen down, and the pen up. So the pen down will put it so that, like, if you have a pencil, when you put the pen down on the paper and you move it around, you're able to draw. But when you take the pen up, that's when you stop drawing. And then erase all is pretty obvious. It just gets rid of all the drawings on the stage. So if I do something like pen down and then move 10 steps, or let's go move 100 steps, we can see that it's drawing a line, and then if we erase all, that line disappears. But if I do pen up and then move 100 steps, it just moves 100 steps with no drawing. So you have to be very careful when you're drawing with a sprite to be aware of your pen downs and pen ups. So we'll now move on to a piece of sample code that is on the lesson, which is in the description. You can check that out right now. But basically the sample code that I have is when green flag clicked, which is this green flag, which will start off your program. Whenever you're starting a program, this is the first thing that happens. When the green flag is clicked, you can have the pen down and then move 90 steps, and then we will turn 90 degrees, and let's get another move 90 steps. Okay, so before anything happens, before I enable this code, I want you guys to predict what this will draw. And okay, let's click the green flag. So our sprite here has drawn a little right angle, and now it's facing the downwards direction. So this is like a way that you can use the code to draw things like shapes. And some of the challenges I have in the Scratch lesson page are for you to draw different shapes like triangles, squares, and if you want, you can try like pentagons and hexagons. But the main sort of shape that we'll be focusing on for this lesson is this pattern right here, which is called the Koch curve, which is basically like a fractal pattern that has many different generations. So in each generation of a fractal pattern, you can see that the pattern gets more and more convoluted, and there's more and more steps that you need to take to be able to create the fractal pattern. So what I want you guys to start with before you even draw anything is to build out this code right here. This will be the first thing that you have whenever you're drawing. You want it to first erase everything and have the pen up so you don't accidentally draw anything on the stage. And then you want it to go to a position and point in a direction, so that way you're always starting in the same place. Okay, so to explain this Koch curve a little bit better, I'll zoom in here. And basically what we're going to draw is like a triangle that's been inserted into this line, that's been cut into this line. So this is the first generation. Is just a line here, it goes up and then down and then it continues. But for the second generation, what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these and put them to each side. So we're going to have a little bump here. It'll continue, move, a little bump, move, and then a little bump here, and then a little bump here. And it'll end up looking like this. This is what your second generation will look like. So we'll try to put this pattern on each of the sides in the pattern. So the challenge for this lesson is to try and get to 3 generations, but if you want, you can try to go to like 4 or 5 generations, although that will probably be a really long script. And if you need help with what to do for the Koch curve, you can use this link for hints, which will hopefully also be in the description of this video. And yeah, that's it for this lesson. I'll have the links to this lesson and to the course outline and to the other activities in this lesson in the description of this video, and hopefully also the link to the next video. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next lesson.